Apple's iPhone Ultra has just appeared again in what looks like the most detailed dummy unit we've seen so far, and honestly I think this is the first time I've looked at one of these models and thought, yeah, this is probably very close to what we're actually getting. For years we've had foldable iPhone rumors that felt more like concept art than actual real products. Every few months someone would claim Apple was testing this design or that design, and then 6 months later we would hear the complete opposite. But these new dummy images shared by Simon Dixon look much more refined, much more finished, and they line up with a surprising amount of previous reporting. The biggest surprise for me actually wasn't the foldable design itself. We already knew Apple was heading towards a book-style foldable rather than a flip phone. The thing that actually caught me off guard is the color situation. Apparently we could be looking at a foldable iPhone that launches in only white. Just white, no black, no graphite, no space black, nothing. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you would know there's been reports suggesting there was uncertainty around a black version, and so I thought that meant Apple would be replacing it with something like a deep navy blue, similar to the iPhone 17 Pro, or maybe a titanium grey finish, something premium. Instead, it sounds like we literally get one color option. Now weirdly, I'm actually okay with this. I know that sounds strange because I'm usually the first person complaining when Apple limits color choices, but the white finish looks incredibly clean. And if Apple was going to pick one colour, I'd much rather it be white than almost anything else. It gives me very strong Vision Pro vibes. It gives me that this is a first generation product and we're treating it differently feeling. And honestly, Apple has done this before. People forget the iPhone X didn't launch with a massive colour range. Apple tends to play it safe when introducing completely new product categories. The company just wants people talking about the product itself rather than debating which shade of blue looks nicest. Looking at the actual hardware, one thing that immediately stands out is the camera design. That camera plateau on the rear looks heavily inspired by the iPhone Air, and I mean heavily. At this point it feels like Apple developed the Air partly to prepare people for future products. The horizontal camera layout looked unusual when rumours first appeared, but now we're seeing that same design language spreading across multiple devices. The foldable definitely doesn't look as sleek as Samsung's Galaxy Fold 7 though. That's probably going to become one of the biggest debates after launch. You have people putting the Fold 7 next to Apple's iPhone Ultra and saying Samsung's looks much more like a regular phone with its taller aspect ratio. And they might be right, but Apple appears to be prioritizing practicality over winning a beauty contest. The wider shape is probably the best example of that. According to reports, we're looking at a 4:3 aspect ratio when unfolded. That's much closer to an iPad than a traditional smartphone. And personally, I think that's a really smart choice, because what do people actually do on tablets? Watch YouTube, watch Netflix, browse websites, read articles, scroll social media. A wider display works brilliantly for that. Sometimes I think the foldable market gets obsessed with the outer panel and making it look like a regular smartphone, and yes, that is important, but also remember that you're buying a foldable for the inner display. That should be prioritized. And so I think Apple's making the right choice here by making it wider, because I'm gonna be using that inner display all the time if I buy this foldable. Now one thing I wasn't expecting at all is the position of the inner camera. The dummy unit suggests it's sitting in the top left corner of the display. That's odd, really odd. I generally thought Apple would want it centered. Not because centered cameras look better, but because a centered camera would allow Apple to potentially add some sort of dynamic culling style interface on the internal display. Instead, we've got this corner punch hole. So is the island going to be floating in the corner of the display now? That feels surprisingly un-Apple. That's probably the phrase I keep coming back to when looking at this design, to be honest. Some parts feel incredibly Apple, other parts don't. And the corner camera is an example of it not feeling like an Apple device. The shape also when folded creates an interesting issue. One side ends up being sharper than the other. The corners don't feel symmetrical as they are on modern iPhones, and Apple usually obsesses over this sort of thing. We've all seen those interviews where designers talk about radii and curves for 15 minutes straight, yet here we are looking at products that seem slightly awkward from certain angles. Maybe that's just the reality of building a foldable device. Sometimes engineering wins over aesthetics, and if that's the case, I think that's completely fine. At the end of the day, function matters more. I know some people are going to disagree, but if a foldable device works brilliantly every day, I honestly don't care if one corner looks slightly weird. The missing action button is another thing people are probably going to complain about, and honestly, I'm a little disappointed as well because I use the action button all the time, but space inside a foldable is obviously at a premium. Every millimeter matters. When you're trying to fit batteries, displays, hinges, cameras, and everything else into a device that's apparently going to be 4.5 millimeters thick, sacrifices have to happen. If you're enjoying the video, by the way, make sure you subscribe because we're getting dangerously close to the point where foldable iPhone rumors stop being rumors and start becoming actual products. And that's going to be a very fun period for Apple fans. Something else we've heard previously is that Apple could skip MagSafe on this thing, and I'm still not fully convinced. That rumor keeps popping up, but removing MagSafe feels like a much bigger compromise than removing the action button. People use MagSafe constantly now. Car mounts, wallets, battery packs, charging stands. The accessory ecosystem is huge. Taking that away would annoy far more people than Apple probably wants to annoy on a $2,000 plus device. I mean, it annoyed enough people on the iPhone 16e that Apple brought it back with the iPhone 17e. So can they really get away with no MagSafe on the iPhone Ultra? And yes, let's talk about that price. Over $2,000, which means in the UK we're probably looking at a number that's going to make your bank account physically recoil in fear. This thing is going to be super expensive, painfully expensive. And the funny part is Apple probably doesn't care, because I don't think this first foldable iPhone is supposed to sell in massive numbers. It's designed to establish Apple's presence in the category. It's a statement product, the same way the Vision Pro was, the same way the original Apple Watch felt with its focus on luxury, and the same way the iPhone X felt when it shattered smartphone pricing expectations. Apple doesn't always need a product to dominate unit sales immediately. Sometimes it just needs people talking about it, and trust me, people are going to be talking about this. Especially if Apple manages to solve the crease issue better than competitors. That's still the issue I'm watching more closely. Not colors, not cameras, not button layouts, the crease. Because if Apple launches a foldable with an almost invisible crease, suddenly all of those other little design quirks become much easier to forgive. A weird camera position? Fine. No action button? Okay. Only one color? Whatever. An almost invisible crease would instantly become the headline feature. Now in the dummy, I should mention the crease isn't as visible, but then again, this is just a dummy. It's not the actual display of the iPhone Ultra, and I'm sure that's going to look very different. So we've got to wait and see for the actual final product. Ultimately, looking at these dummy units, I get the impression Apple spent years refusing to release a foldable until it meets a certain standards. Some people interpreted that as Apple being behind. I'm not sure that's true. I think Apple's waiting until it could build the version I actually wanted. Also remember, they would have to take time to refine the software experience, and we're already seeing hints of this in iOS 27, so when the iPhone Ultra does launch, we can expect the software to be great from day one. For now though, this looks like the clearest indication yet that the iPhone Ultra is very much real, it's coming, and Apple's about to enter a category it spent years watching from the sidelines. Before you go, if you've watched all the way to the end, type the word passport down in the comments so I know you guys made it this far. I'm curious how many people actually catch the secret words. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and press the hype button because it helps small creators massively and really helps more people discover the channel. And if you want even more iPhone coverage, check out my previous video on the iPhone 18 Pro. I think you'll enjoy this one too.